Hi guys, this is Nina Golemi. I'm an artist and illustrator with Unlimited Art Studios, and I recently came out with a doodle type zentangle giclée prints. Giclée is French for a fine spray of ink, so it's a fine art print. And it's printed on award-winning museum quality pure velvet paper. Now, here's an example. So they're meant to be framed on a wall, and these images will also be in a coloring book. Like, you guys asked, and I have about 50 requests, so it's going to take a while. So either you can buy the print, or you can wait for the coloring book to come out. Now, there are a couple questions, can we color the prints? And I was like, well, that's really cool, because then you could have a piece of fine art hanging on your wall that you colored, and you don't have to rip it out of a coloring book or something like that. Well, I don't know, so why don't we find out? Behind me, I've got some coloring instruments that you probably have at home. These are just some really colorful Sharpies and Prismacolor markers or whatever other kind of water-based markers that you might have, and my Prismacolor coloring pencils to represent the type of coloring pencils that you probably have, and then watercolors. So let's find out if we can actually color these. Okay, so obviously I've zoomed in on the French Bulldog's face, and we're gonna start off with the Sharpies here, and they're not the oil-based ones, they're just the regular fine point permanent markers that you can get at Walmart. So let's just try these and see how it goes. And I'm not gonna color it perfectly. Oh, by the way, if you have OCD, don't buy these, because I drew it all by hand. It's not computer generated. So, well, right here it looks like it's not bleeding. Nice and bright. Which is kind of surprising, because I would imagine that a giclée, which is like an inkjet type of print, you would experience some bleeding in the ink. So obviously I'm not being as creative for this little experiment as you probably would be. So let's try another color. We'll go with green. Why not? We'll go right here. And right now it doesn't really look like it's bleeding. I am very happy with this. So this is kind of fun. Okay, so my evaluation of the Sharpies is that they work. So you can color these with Sharpies, and they have a really bright, brilliant color. Let's see if I can zoom in here for you, and if it'll focus. You see that the ink did not bleed, and the marker stayed within the lines. So I would think that it's partially the nice paper that helps out with that. So let's try the Prismacolor markers next. We'll go with blue. And the cool thing about these is that they have two tips. One is the super fine tip, and then one is the wider tip. So it's up to you if you want to buy these. Otherwise, I would probably recommend, if you're just doing this for fun and you're not going to sell your artwork, I wouldn't invest in Prismacolors. Okay, so here's some blue, and it looks like the paper is soaking up the ink just fine. And again, I'm just going quick here because it's just a product test. So you are free to be as creative as you want. Because it looks like this is working. We'll try another color. Let's try yellow. And, well, yeah, because yellow I would be a bit scared to do. You know how sometimes if you color and mix black with yellow and it turns out all muddy? Well, it doesn't look like it's happening here. I'll try a bigger space just so that you guys can see. I'll even go into the black a little bit. I don't know if you can see, but I'll color straight over this black here. Looks like it works just fine. Try another area. Okay, so it looks like Prismacolors and Sharpies work just fine. Next, we will move on to colored pencil, which I'm sure you guys find really popular. Here's a fun color. Now these ones are Prismacolors, and you don't have to stick with these. My concern with this would be that the paper has a really nice texture to it. So would the colored pencil actually be able to stick to this paper nice? And it looks like it does. It does cover up some of the black ink a little bit, and I'll show you, I'll zoom in here in just a second. So this looks great. It looks like these work too. Now I wouldn't, not that my coloring job looks great, but okay. I could imagine that coloring this would be either very frustrating or very meditative. So these look great. And again, I think if I were to choose between colored pencil and the ink options, meaning the markers, I would probably pick a marker. And I'm still amazed that the black ink is not being drawn into any of the marker space still. Okay, so not a perfect coloring job. I'll zoom in here so you can see a colored pencil. Again, there's the yellow that I colored completely over the eye just to see if the black would smear with the Prismacolor marker, and it didn't. So I'm very impressed with this paper. Now we've got a colored pencil here. I don't know if you can see that, but it does kind of cover up the black a little bit, so you get, it's not as vibrant, so I would stay away if you're going to be coloring on the black. You can see it more right here. Stay away from the black and try to really color in the lines. Okay, so our next evaluation is going to be watercolor. So let me get it set up here. And we'll do some red. Now, my estimate would be that this would bleed the most. Let's see what happens when I try to color this red. It looks like it's getting a little bit muddy. So I don't recommend watercolors with this because the ink is getting a bit washed into the coloring space here. I'll show it to you on the nose so maybe you can see a little bit more. You can see there's ink here. So we'll go with just some green. So let's see. Now normally this is a very nice bright green. And I just want to paint it here so that you can see the difference. When I go over the finely detailed black, look at how muddy it's getting. Okay, so final analysis. It looks like Sharpies are okay, Prismacolor markers are okay, colored pencils are also okay, but not watercolor, because watercolor will make it look all muddy. Now, in case you need to see it even closer, do you see how muddy the nose is? So I would definitely stick with Sharpies or more Prismacolors. And for final analysis, yep, if I were to do even this whole area, it doesn't look like it's getting smudged at all by the black. And of course I'm being sloppy here. But hey, that's cool. Well, we found out that we actually can color these, which is quite a surprise to me because I thought that with the Epson inks on this nice of a paper, it would get muddy. And we saw that it only gets muddy with watercolors, so if you're going to color these, don't use watercolors. I highly suggest using the most inexpensive choice, which is the Sharpies, because they come out very vibrant and it's not muddy at all. We even used yellow, which turned out just fine. If you have Prismacolors at home, use those. I didn't try the blending marker yet, so you can experiment. So you can imagine something colored really nice, bright, and happy that's also a fine art print that you can keep forever, not quite like a coloring book which you would have to rip out or something. And it can go up in your wall and framed. So if you want to order these, go to unlimitedartstudios.com and go to the shop section. I'll be adding these along with the requests for the coloring book, which there are about 50 requests, so it's going to take a long time. So you can get these now though as they come out. Thanks for watching!